Throughout its 40-year history, Metal Hero has experienced a rise and fall like no other Toku show. Combining armored heroes with sci-fi and police elements, Metal Hero would help define Toku throughout the 80s and 90s.
Gavan!
This video is going to cover every single season of Metal Hero, as well as the important crossovers and even the American adaptations like VR Troopers and Beetleborgs.
Data bundle. Input card.
So sit back and relax. This is the complete history of Metal Hero. 1982 would see the release of Uchu Keiji Gavan, or Space Sheriff Gavan. This was the inaugural season of what would eventually be known as the Metal Hero franchise. Heavily inspired by Star Wars, the creation of Gavan was the result of Toei wanting to introduce a new solo hero that wasn't a Kamen Rider and didn't require kids to know any backstory in order to jump in and enjoy. In pre-production, Toei considered a lot of different names, such as Space Detective Z, Ginjiro, and Ginbird. However, Toei would settle on the name Gavan, named after a French actor named Jean Gabin. This made it much easier for Toei to copyright the name due to it being non-Japanese. Toei would cast the legendary Kinji Oba as Gavan, famous for his roles in Battle Fever J and Dingy Man, and he would don a unique chrome suit that would become iconic over time. Gavan was a member of Galactic Union Police, an organization of space cops, and he was trained on planet Bird before traveling to Earth in an effort to stop the Maku Empire. Gavan was quite successful and would kick off the Metal Hero series in a big and bold way. In 1983, Toei released the direct sequel series to Gavan with Uchu Keiji Sharavan, or Space Sheriff Sharavan. This show would see Gavan be promoted to captain of the Galactic Union Police, while Din Iga, his successor, would henchman into Sharavan and become the new protector of Earth. As a sequel series, Sharavan featured a lot of characters and story elements from Gavan, while Sharavan himself would sport a sleek new red suit design that fit perfectly within this universe. Sharavan teamed up with Lily as they would continue the effort to protect Earth. Sharavan was a worthy sequel to Gavan and did a great job at giving this universe a fresh coat of paint. 1984 brought us the third and final show in the Space Sheriff series with Uchu Keiji Scheider, or Space Sheriff Scheider. Dai Sawamura, or Scheider, played by the late Hiroshi Tsuburaya, was a native of Earth who would take on the role of Earth's protector, and he featured a new blue color scheme to differentiate him from his predecessors. For those of you wondering, yes, Hiroshi Tsuburaya, the man who played Scheider, is the grandson of the absolutely legendary Eiji Tsuburaya, co-creator of Ultraman and Godzilla, and one of the most important people in the history of Toku. As for Scheider, this series and its namesake were both excellent additions to what was quickly becoming a full-fledged franchise. 1984 would also deliver the first ever movie in the Metal Hero franchise with Scheider the Movie. Taking place between episodes 19 and 20, this project would bring Space Sheriff's excitement and signature sci-fi style to the big screen. This movie featured a suspenseful rescue operation that was Scheider's biggest adventure yet, and a lot of villains were featured, making this a memorable chapter in Metal Hero's legacy. In 1985, Toei introduced us to Kyoju Tokuso Juspion, or Mega Beast Investigator Juspion, the first Metal Hero show without the Uchu Keiji tagline, marking the start of a new era for the franchise. Juspion would retain many elements of its predecessors with some unique additions to the formula, like his Robo Dailion. Jaspion's parents were killed before he was adopted by Aging, and he learns of a prophecy where the world will be destroyed by mega beasts once Satan Gorth awakens. Jaspion would travel from planet to planet as he battled Satan Gorth and the Mega Beasts in his special armor made from a rare mineral called Agenium. The name Jaspion is a combination of the English words justice and champion. 1986 saw the release of Ziku Senshi Spielban, or Space Time Warrior Spielban. Featuring multiple metal heroes in Spielban, Diana, and Helen, the series continued with a similar tone to the previous seasons, and in Brazil it was actually marketed as a sequel to Jaspion named Jaspion 2 Spielban. Spielban even featured the legend herself, Machiko Soga, as Queen Pandora, not to be confused with Witch Bandora. Spielban even featured a lot of sound effects that were used in Dragon Ball, probably because Toei made both shows around the same time. Spielban took chances with the formula, while still retaining the metal hero feel that fans had grown accustomed to. Metal Hero returned in 1987 with a new hero inspired by the legendary android Kikaider. This was Chojinki Metalder, or Superhuman Machine Metalder. Featuring a sleek red and blue aesthetic, Metalder was an android created at the end of World War II, who was inactive until the Neros Empire would invade Earth. This series incorporated a darker tone and story than previous seasons, and the ratings would drop in response. Due to the lower ratings, Metalder would only reach 39 episodes, making it the shortest series in the franchise. 1988 saw the release of Sekai Ninja Sin Jiraiya, or World Ninja Jiraiya, a unique new ninja-themed take on the Metal Hero franchise. Contrasting starkly with its tech and science fiction-themed predecessors, Jiraiya would focus on ninja, as well as other Japanese themes that would really set it apart from previous seasons. Throughout this show, we would be introduced to many different ninja, ninja masters, and even samurai, making for a really interesting hybrid of old-school Japan and typical Metal Hero themes. Due to the fresh and creative approach that Toei took when creating Jiraiya, it really opened up the door for what the Metal Hero franchise could be in the future. (1989) brought us Kido Keiji Jiban, or Mobocop Jiban. Being the first Metal Hero show of the Heisei era, this project was heavily inspired by the 1970s Toku show Robot Detective, as well as the American film Robocop, with many similarities in both the premise and general style. Our hero, Naoto Tamura, is a rookie police officer who's tragically killed while on duty before being turned into Jiban. Jiban offered fans another cop-themed hero, although with a grittier premise that was ripped straight from Hollywood. (1990) brought us Tokei Winspector, or Special Rescue Police Winspector, featuring an armored human, codenamed Fire, and his robot allies. Winspector took place in 1999, the near future at the time, and would kick off the Special Rescue subseries within the franchise. This show was also the first one that was titled after a team, instead of an individual hero. Interestingly enough, Winspector would recycle most of its music from Metalder. Winspector featured realistic premises and intense action mixed with fantasy elements, making for a really dynamic combination. Winspector's unique formula would prove to be extremely successful with fans. In 1991, Metal Hero fans were treated to Winspector's sequel series, Tokyo Shirei Soulbrain, or Special Rescue Command Soulbrain, a direct sequel to Winspector that would continue the Special Rescue subseries. Soulbrain would focus on some new human teammates and a form-changing robot named Souldozer, before Fire from Winspector would return later in the season as Nightfire. Soulbrain would continue the success of Winspector and lead to yet another sequel series the following year. 1992 saw the release of the final series in the Rescue Police sub-series with Toku Exceed Draft, or Special Rescue Exceed Draft. Exceed Draft featured an all-male team with a slightly different tone and story than the other Special Police series. This was due to the show being originally titled Kinkyu Shirei Triangler, with the intent to make it completely separate from its predecessors. This was evident by the story being largely unconnected to previous seasons, until characters and elements from Winspector and Soulbrain would return later on. Exceed Draft paid homage to previous seasons and looked forward to the future of Metal Hero at the same time. You asked for it and it's here. Introducing the Shogunate, the official Acrimony Discord. A chill place to hang out and talk about anime, gaming, and of course all things Toku. You can even drop me content ideas and be a part of some exclusive streams. So if that sounds cool, join up today. Link is in the description.
Jump-Person fights for justice!
After the conclusion of the Special Rescue trilogy, Metal Hero would return in 1993 with Toku Robo Jan-Person, or Special Investigation Robo Jan-Person.
Such.
Jan-Person features a slick purple robot hero who takes on crime in Japan and uses technology to his advantage. Reminiscent of Gavan, Jan-Person would also feature many callbacks to other previous seasons, with tons of classic actors returning for guest appearances and heavily leaning on previous successes within the series in terms of tone and theme. Despite its somewhat derivative nature, Jan-Person was a cool and entertaining take on the Metal Hero franchise. 1994 brought Metal Hero fans a more realistic and gritty take on the formula with Blue SWAT. Blue SWAT would emphasize realistic elements with a focus on weaponry and hand-to-hand combat. This approach was received well by older longtime fans, but kids and parents were turned off by it, which resulted in a tone shift halfway through the season, with a new character being added as well. This show is unique in that the heroes are referred to by the same name while Henshin and non-Henshin. Blue SWAT brought a fresh new tone, and although it wasn't the most successful series in the franchise, a certain portion of the Toku fandom still holds this show in high regard. Also in 1994, Toei would release a film called Toei Hero Daishugo, a team-up film featuring Blue SWAT, Jan-Person, and many Super Sentai teams. The project was shown as a triple feature alongside Super Sentai and Kamen Rider World, and was shown primarily at theme parks throughout Japan. Although this project was small, it was a cool team-up at a time when these characters were yet to really intermingle very much. 1994 would also see the release of Saban's VR Troopers, an American adaptation of the Metal Hero franchise. Due to the success of Power Rangers in the West, Saban and Toei decided that they liked money, and a sister series based off of Metal Hero was agreed upon. VR Troopers would utilize footage from multiple different Metal Hero seasons, including Spielban, Scheider, and Metalder. This show incorporated similar elements to Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, such as the fact that this is a team of young adults with a mentor that Henshin, but VR Troopers also featured a talking dog. VR Troopers would see moderate success in its 2 seasons, and would introduce many Western fans to the Metal Hero franchise in much the same way that Power Rangers had done with Super Sentai. 1995 was the year of Juko B-Fighter, or Heavy Shell Beetle Fighter. Juko B-Fighter focuses on a team of soldiers called B Commanders, donning insect-infused heavy armor created by Earth Academia. These B Commanders would Juko and take on one of the most well-written villain factions in the series with Jamal. Eventually, this series would introduce a dark B Commander named Blackbeat, who had a really interesting story with a twist that was unlike anything else in Toku. The Blackbeat story angle, to me, is quintessential 90s Toku, and the story featured visually dynamic suits and abilities that would contribute to the show's success. 1996 saw the explosive follow-up to Juko B-Fighter in the form of B-Fighter Kabuto. B-Fighter Kabuto would feature a new team of heroes, although with several returning characters, and slick new purple, silver, and gold armor for our protagonists. B-Fighter Kabuto was bigger than its predecessor in nearly every way, from the detailed suits to the explosive action, the cool weapons, and the large amount of heroes featured. Much like its predecessor, this show also featured vehicles called the Neo Beat Machines, and even featured 2 giant mechas called Shell Gods. B-Fighter Kabuto would be a memorable follow-up to Juko B-Fighter, but this project would be bittersweet, as in Japan, the franchise was winding down a bit. 1996 would also see the American adaptation of Juko B-Fighter with Saban's Big Bad Beetleborgs, serving as a successor to VR Troopers. This show follows 3 average kids, Drew, Roland, and Joe, who become the Beetleborgs after freeing a ghost named Flabber that they use to obtain the powers of their favorite comic book heroes, the Beetleborgs. Flabber lived inside of a haunted house filled with some hilariously wacky monsters that would give the show a vastly different tone than other shows at the time. Beetleborgs brought a lot of unique things to the table, and it would make this show very successful. While Metal Hero was losing steam in Japan, Beetleborgs looked to have a very bright future. In 1997, Metal Hero would completely abandon the older audience to focus exclusively on young viewers with B-Robo Robotack.
Huh?
Although Robotack did feature appearances from previous Metal Heroes, the tone, format, suit designs, and story were completely different than before, causing many people to not even consider this part of the Metal Hero franchise, but officially it is. 1997 also saw the follow-up to Saban's Beetleborgs in the West with Beetleborgs Metallics, based off of B-Fighter Kabuto. Following the same heroes and many of the same characters from Beetleborgs, Metallics would up the ante in terms of style and action just like Kabuto did for B-Fighter. All of the cool additions that B-Fighter Kabuto enjoyed are also present here, such as the awesome suits and vehicles. This show enjoyed moderate success in terms of viewership and toy sales, but never reached quite the same heights as Power Rangers in the West. '98 1998 brought us Tetsuan Tantei Robotack, or Iron Bark Detective Robotack. This show was quite similar to Robotack, being focused once again on small children, and consequently this show would underperform. Due to Toei's failed experiment at trying to appeal to very young children, Robotack would be the very last series in the Metal Hero franchise, but these characters would continue to appear in other projects for years to come.
We can avenge your untimely destruction, King Mondo. Let's begin!
In the classic Power Rangers episode Forever Red, several suit designs from Metal Hero's history were featured. Most notably were Blackbeat and G-Stag from Juko B-Fighter. Forever Red is an absolutely legendary and classic episode in Power Rangers history, and I always thought it was funny that they expected us not to recognize the green Beetleborg walking around.
What?
You know, if you miss King Mondo that much, I promise we can help you join him.
Forever Red is an awesome episode in its own right, but whenever you add these classic Metal Hero suits into the mix, it was just a nice little cherry on top. 2012 was a year of revival for Metal Hero, as Toei would take steps to bring the franchise to a new generation with Gokaiger vs. Gavan. This movie would see the original Metal Hero team up with the most popular Sentai of all time in an epic adventure that fans both young and old could enjoy together. Due to both Gavan and the Gokaiger's fondness of space travel, this team-up felt natural, and the conflict between Gavan and all the Gokaigers was an absolute treat for fans of these franchises.
Gavan!
Also released in 2012 was the long-awaited and well-deserved big screen adaptation of Gavan, with Gavan the movie. This movie features the legendary Kinji Oba to reprise his role as Gavan, and also featured the other space sheriffs, making for an epic celebration of the franchise. 2013 brought us Superhero Taisen Zeto, a movie I've discussed quite a bit on this channel due to how many characters are here from all of Toei's properties. Superhero Taisen Zeto combined tons of characters from Metal Hero, Super Sentai, and Kamen Rider in an epic team-up that was perfect for the big screen. This film was an awesome and over-the-top celebration and a treat for Metal Hero fans and fans of Toei in general. 2014 saw the release of Uchu Keiji Charavan Next Generation, a V-Cinema release that would put the spotlight on Charavan. This movie would reunite classic characters from the series while introducing new ones and adding new elements that make this classic project even cooler. Also in 2014 was Shider Next Generation, to continue the Next Generation celebration with a focus on Shider. These Next Generation films would do their best to revitalize the franchise. Despite not leading to more series, they would pay homage and at the same time create new possibilities for Metal Hero going forward. 2017 saw the huge V-Cinema release of Gavan vs. Deca Ranger. Gavan is investigating a deal with Mad Gallant when he decides to not wait for Fire Squad and attack before he is defeated and his partner Shelly seemingly killed in action. At the same time, the Deca Rangers investigate a trend of vampiric killings with bite marks present on the victims' necks, and Umiko and Sin are getting married. So while these plot points seem random at first, it works really well, and Deca Ranger was a great team to pair Gavan with.
Attention, Earthlings! I'm Sheriff Skyfire, and you're gonna pay for what you did to Madame Odious.
2018 brought a surprise appearance from Jiraiya in Power Rangers Ninja Steel.
Aren't you the legendary Sheriff Skyfire? You're correct, Space Citizen.
Known as Sheriff Skyfire in the Ninja Steel universe, Jiraiya's presence was a reference that was probably lost on many Power Rangers fans, but this was an awesome cameo for fans of Metal Hero. 2018 was also the year of Q Ranger vs. Space Squad, a huge film featuring characters from throughout Toei's Toku universe. Featuring Q Ranger, as well as many classic Rangers and Metal Hero characters, Q Ranger vs. Space Squad was explosive, and I think it gives a lot more life to these franchises when you see them interacting with one another. It makes the world of Toku seem much larger.
Hello, Power Rangers. I am Captain Chaku of the G5 Galaxy Police Force.
In 2019, Power Rangers Beast Morphers used Gavan's suit design for a new character named Captain Shaku. Although not technically Gavan, this was a cool and unexpected treat to just happen to see Gavan's suit design in Power Rangers. So why did Metal Hero end? As far as I can tell, it was because it wasn't profitable enough to fit into Toei's portfolio after Kamen Rider returned to the small screen. Kamen Rider was off of television for most of the 90s following Shotaro Ishinomori's death. When Kamen Rider was on hiatus, Metal Hero fit nicely into the science and technology niche in its place. But with Kamen Rider returning in the 2000s, Toei just didn't find it necessary to continue with the Metal Hero franchise. Although Metal Hero is a semi-retired franchise, it left an everlasting impression within the genre of tokusatsu. Metal Hero was a trailblazer in terms of suit design and implementation of technology into the story. The sci-fi elements featured here would be a strong influence for many other space-themed Toku shows over the years. Even though Metal Hero may be gone, as long as Toku fans like you exist to keep the memory alive, it'll never actually die. But that's just what I think. Let me know what you think in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, it would mean a ton if you would smack the shit out of that like button. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys later. Bye!